Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch, and welcome today to another video of Seiko doing what Seiko does best these days. Taking an old design, mildly updating the specifications, and then re-releasing it at the absolute maximum price that it thinks the market will tolerate. Good on ya, Seiko! Today, it's the turn of the Seiko 5 SNX. Now, I reviewed the SNX less than a year ago, so I have had a recent look at the original watch. Classic design, but an old movement and a terrible bracelet if you have more than 3 hairs on your arm. I finished that video by giving a list of 5 pros, but also 5 cons. I thought therefore it would be reasonable to do the same with the new watch, review it for what it is and come up with 5 pros and 5 cons if I can, and then decide whether it's actually worth buying rather than the old watch, considering the old watch is still available and costs a damn sight less than the new one. Now, I didn't just buy one of these, but I know a man who did. Queensland subscriber and friend of the channel, Chris. Thank you so much, Chris. He bought one on a bit of a deal from a local retailer, and he did so for a rather specific set of reasons, which shall be discussed. Thanks, Chris, for letting me play with your shiny new toy. Much appreciated, mate. All right, let's flip the camera and peel off some stickers. Alright, let's get into it, but before I even open the box, let's talk about my favourite subject in the world, money. If I'm going to complain about Seiko jacking up the prices, I at least ought to discuss the prices before I show you the watch, shouldn't I? Okay, this is the old Seiko SNXS, currently still available on eBay, plenty of them there. The cheapest one I could find was 190 Aussie dollars. I'm going to talk in Aussie dollars today. You dig around, you find one in your local currency, or just use Google Convert if you prefer. This is the new Seiko SRPK 80 something. I've seen it referred to as the Everyday Carry SNXS as well, by the way, so they're clearly referencing the old one whilst trying to sell you the new one. 625 Australian dollars. Now that is the official Seiko boutique price. I don't think Chris paid that. I've already seen these from online retailers being sold at 399 Aussie. So, brand new watch. I don't think it's selling very well. They've already cut a third off the price, 200 Australian dollars off the price. The question then becomes, is it worth twice what the old one is? That, my friends, is what we shall endeavour to find out by getting into it. Do you know what? I don't even know what colour of Seiko I have got in the box today. I don't know what colour Chris bought. There are in fact 3 different colours available. There's a blue one, there's a black one, and there's a cream one. Now they're not 1-for-1 copies of the old watch. If they were, they would be a grey one as well. Plus they've added a bit of fauxtina and a bit of colour on those second hands. Alright, so those are the 3 colours. Which of the 3 colours did Chris go for? What's in the box today? Let's find out. Oops, I think that was the black one. It's the black one. Good man, Chris. I got the thumbnail made up early this week. I didn't know which colour he'd gone for. Just as well, I got it right. 1 in 3. And I picked black because it's the one I would have gone for as well. I think it's the best looking of the 3. Interesting though that they haven't released a grey, because the grey, the silver grey, was one of the biggest sellers for the original Seiko 5. So anyway, knowing Seiko, there'll be another 20 colours along before Christmas. Alright, let's peel some stickers off of this one then, shall we? There we go then. To give this one its full title, it's the SRPK 89K1, containing, crucially, the caliber 4R36. So let's set the aforementioned 4R36 to the watch reviewer's favourite time, 7 minutes past 10 on my favourite date, Friday the 13th. Old 80s horror movie reference there. I do it pretty much every time. Now, I did say that Chris had reasons behind his purchase other than just he liked the watch. His reasons were that he liked the original watch and had always considered doing a movement swap, upgrading it to the 4R36, the hacking and hand-winding version of the 7S26 that preceded it, the one that was in all the old Seiko 5s. Rather than spend the time, the money and the effort doing the mods, Seiko released a pre-modded version effectively for him and others like him to buy. Alright, dial and hands, they've kept it simple, they've kept it clean, they've kept it pretty legible actually, and it's really nicely proportioned. Sometimes small watches can look kind of disproportionate and cluttered, but this one is really good. And when you look at this one more closely under macro lens, as we will be doing, you can actually see some nice details that I wasn't expecting that go some way towards justifying some, if not all, of the price. Gloss black, very plain dial, however, applied indices, batons all round with a double at 12, an applied Seiko logo, if not the Seiko 5 logo, which is just printed on underneath. Nice to see that they have used automatic in italics, very reminiscent of the SARB 033 and various other models. There's a frame around the nicely colour matched day-date complication at the 3 o'clock, and also a nicely colour matched chapter ring with minute markers around the outer edges. Now if we go back in and have a look at the indices, high polished but with vertical stripes on top. You don't necessarily see that with a naked eye, but you can see extra details, as I said, when you go in close. Similarly, the hands, they are not only beveled with high polished edges, but there's a brushed linear center section. Again, wasn't necessarily expecting it myself until I had a good look at the watch under a loupe. There is nothing radical here whatsoever, but there's nothing offensive here whatsoever. These are meant to be daily wear watches, and yeah, there's enough here to keep you interested if you do decide to wear one of these as a long-termer. And there's enough lume here as well for you if you're going to run it as a long-termer, a kind of daily 24/7 watch. Lumi Bright, of course, that's Seiko's proprietary lume. I always rate it as about a 7 out of 10 lume. It's never outstanding, but it's never disappointing, and that's exactly the case in this case. And that's it on my wrist. I have a 7-inch wrist for your reference. I would totally rock this one as a daily if I was so inclined. It's a really good size. Like I said though, I think they could have gotten away with 20mm lug width. I think 18 is going to be a bit of a polarizer. I've got 3 or 4 18mm lug width straps in my strap box. I've got 30 or 40 20mm lug width straps in my strap box, and yeah, that could be a deciding factor for some people's purchasing decision. There we are, zoomed out for a bit more perspective. Nice size, nice shape, and it does have a bit of chunk to it, thanks I think to the thickness rather than anything else. 118, 120 grams is pretty much par for the course for this size of watch. The dome crystal though, yeah, perhaps not too much AR coating. You're getting plenty of flecto as well as that distortion. Alright, we've had a good look at the watch. I'm not going to do moans and niggles today. I'm going to do pros and cons just like I did with its uncle, or whatever you want to call it. A lot of them are similar, but there are some differences, obviously, given the upgrades that this watch sports. The brand, I think, is still the biggest pro. When you buy a Seiko, you're buying the best brand that you can buy for less than $500 US, I think. You're buying a brand with a heap of history, with a fantastic model range, a recognizable identity. Yeah, brand is still right up there. You're buying a much, much better movement than you were with the old watch as well. I've said it many times, these Seiko 4R/NH movements are really all you need in a watch, and they will run reliably for years, if not decades. Build quality, I think the build quality of this one is really nice. That is a well finished case, it just looks good, it's nicely proportioned, and it definitely feels a big step up, a quantum leap forward in the overall build quality over the old Seiko 5 range. Display case back? Yeah, a nice touch, a nice addition to this style of watch, particularly as these are often an on-ramp for younger collectors. Run now while you still have a chance, kids. And the bracelet is actually alright, it's pretty comfortable and it looks good. So that is a reasonable list of pros then. What about cons? Well, the first con is the same as the old watch. It's still small. It's basically the same dimensions as the old one. Sub 37 is not going to suit everybody, particularly the 18mm lug width. I think people who might have gotten away with a diameter will balk at the lug width. Fiddly crown, it is particularly fiddly, this one. You really do need to get a nail under there. If you don't have nails, then you're not going to be able to adjust the watch all that easily. The bracelet may be usable, but the clasp is really poor. You know, this is as cheap as it gets, and considering the RRP of this one, the clasp is a bit of an embarrassment, to be honest. Fotina, all 3 versions are only available with Fotina at the moment. I know that is a massive turn off for some. I quite like it, I think it suits the watch, but yeah, they need to come up with some more overtly modern colour versions of this one soon, and knowing Seiko, I'm sure they will. And questionable value, particularly at RRP. $625 for a watch with a poor bracelet and mineral crystal and a basic movement. not that fantastic. 400 Aussie dollars, yeah, okay, we're kind of getting there. I would like to see this one settle in at 350 Aussie or less. I think at that price, I would 2 thumbs up recommend it over the original Seiko 5. At 400 though, despite all of those advantages and all of the upgrades, it's twice the price of the old ones. There's still a strong argument, especially if you're going to put it on a leather strap, of just going for the old one. So there you have it. It is indeed a charmer, but it's a charmer I would prefer at 50% off the RRP, which just goes to show how overpriced Seiko's new releases are. If you want to see more Seiko 5 content, click top or bottom. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of this one. I'll see you again in the next one.